It's Sunday, March the 26th. I just wanted to make a note. I got a total happy feeling in my heart just a minute ago. And I felt like a chopper, like a military helicopter was flying close by, headed towards the direction of my house. And my heart just started pounding, feeling that Janice Catherine has been rescued yesterday and the day before. I don't know when she was put in, but she got a message to me. We were speaking telepathically, and I was just thinking about her, and I said, "What you doing?" And I could feel her smiling, like, "What's happening?" My mom finds me at the weirdest, funnest, bestest times. I said, what's going on? What's happening with you? And she just smiled, and she said, she said, "I'm in an animal." I said, "What are you talking about? You're in an animal." She said, "I'm an animal." Right? And I said, "What does that mean? What kind of animal can you be in? Are you in an animal carcass? Are you freezing in the woods? Did you find a zebra and climb in like the movies?" And she just said, shook her head. And I said, "What is happening here? I don't really mean like that." So I Googled, "I'm in an animal," and I saw this movie, Big and Small, was, I don't know the reference to it, but I had just watched that with like the end of the day before, I forget, but within 24 hours of her saying that, and I said, "What?" And it's about a cartoon, and it's an animated show about all the animals getting together to be put on the ark, like checking in and doing all this stuff. So I opened that up and just added that to my mind, and then I looked at something else that said, I forget, but it led me to a song called "Prayers for the Damned," and I opened that up, and there's a picture of an angel sitting and praying, and she's on the rusty concrete, musty dark, not rusty, but they're aged concrete statue, and she's praying, and you could see like Armageddon in the background, and the song is literally that, your death. I remember standing out, it says like that your death, you do the same thing in your death, after death, that you did while you were living. So I said, "Well, then I'm good then. I'm all right. I'm not, some people want to be evil, so let them have that life after death." But I said, "What does all this have to do with Janice Catherine?" And then I had to figure out where she was at. So while I was researching that, well, she's with, we're chatting, and but she doesn't really know where she is. And I said, "I feel like you're like curled up," and she just smiles like, "How does my mom know this stuff?" So I lay like in the fetal position type of thing, just hugging her. If I would hug her, I'm saying I just want to give her a hug. And I lay with her, and I'm just hugging her, and I was just in my mind, for real, not. And I had just looked at this Jeff Longo, who had found a squirrel, a baby, not even a baby, a fetus, on the sidewalk in Florida a few years back. And I thought that was cute because 2 baby squirrels were born in my ceiling, and my daughter found them on the step in the living room, and she called them bunnies. Like, they were old enough to walk, but this one wasn't even old enough. It was teeny tiny. And I said, "Oh my God!" And he had flying. It was a fly. Turned out it was a flying squirrel, but it was teeny, teeny, tiny, like 2 inches. And later, one of the next pictures I saw was one inside of a like acorn in a nutshell. And I said, is that how you are? You like curled up in a nutshell? And she started smiling and laughing. And I knew it wasn't an actual wooden nutshell, you know, the size of a nut, but that's how it felt like it was. And this is the stuff that Peel does. That being not Lisa Beth Peel, Tilione, Wackenheimer Schmoots. I have to say that name because the voice that's speaking to people as the Antichrist, Tour of Babylon, that is who she is. So she put my daughter in so this is how I felt or see it in my mind. And I asked her, where is she? Because the reason I was speaking to her in the first place, I mean, I'd like to just spend time with her, just waiting until I figured out how to find her without somebody taking her away and giving her to someone else, because that's what they seem to do. She was, there was a woman found in a sewer in Florida, like she was trapped underground and was yelling for help. And I was just telling my daughter the day before, like, if something ever happens, sure, you yell for help. You can say, how else people gonna know you're there unless you make some noise, right? So I just smiled and I said, if you ever need something, and even if you think people can't hear you, just yell for help. And here this woman was yelling for help, and somebody heard her, and they called 911, and she couldn't like lift the manhole cover at that place, but they rescued her out of there. And when I realized I called the Delray, Florida. I called the rescue paramedics or whatever. I called them and told them I'm missing my daughter. She's 27 years old, and they said, oh, the lady we found is 42. I said, oh, okay. And knowing this woman, she could have taken my daughter down there. So I started to raise my daughter instead in my mind and say, what happened? Because that's what happened, and I could feel her like shock, like, what? Really? Like, she's so sweet. She's so sweet. I can't wait to meet her and be with her again. But she is like I started looking at the Google map and tried to feel her. Like I said, where did you come from? And she just kind of shakes her head. And I say, I feel that you went in reverse. I said, you're in that sewer, or where Sweetiekins is. She's telling me this is probably the woman who brought her down there and left her somewhere. And I start backtracking down the stream to see where it was she came from, and it looks like I ran like Lake Worth or something like that. And then Westgate Communities. Maybe she was jumped in or walked in you went in by yourself? She's saying, yeah, but it was even far before that. It might have been from where she is right now. But I kept following it up, and I could feel God showing me my heart. Yep, north, north, north. And I'm like, and then she's in Greenland. And I said, Greenland? So I'm looking at Greenland, and it's, of course, this giant white patch of snow and ice. And I said, how can you be in Greenland? And we laughed, and she just shakes her head like, that's where I am. I'm in there. And I said, what? Are you that little dot I feel that's right over there? She said, what? She said, yeah, that's where I'm at. Oh, yeah, I'm in Greenland. And then I feel like there's a hole in the ice. Not in the bucket, but in the ice. And she's like, that's where I am. And she said you'd never find me, or when you found me, I could leave. And I said, how can I fucking get to Greenland? You know, I don't have no daggone money. And what, am I going to call somebody? So the people who hear me and hear God and hear his sons heard me, and they would say they were out there and they were going to rescue her. They're not going to give up, I tell her. But the woman who speaks in people's minds talks to my daughter and tells her, like, the bad things. You know how demons will tell you shit that's not true, and anything they think will make you hurt or sad or upset to fuck with your head. that's what they do. And she tells Catherine Janice Redeal, not also known as Janice Catherine Leader. My baby born October 7th, 1993, who was taken by the doctor after he hit her head. Took her to the emergency room, or so I thought. And I didn't see her again, and I thought they gave me the right baby to take home, tell me she was okay. And God tells me, in 24 years later, when I was begging him, like, did I bring home the right kid? Because this kid that I have here hates my guts. He got back to me a day or so later and said, no, you didn't bring home the right baby. So, ever since then, that was November of, what year is this? This is 2021. That was November of 2017. So I found out one of the first things I did, investigating names and social security numbers. I found out that my social security number is being used by a woman calling herself Janice Leader-Paez. And she uses an address across the street from me at 4823 Roosevelt Boulevard in Philadelphia, PA, and I live at 4822. So I don't think, maybe she didn't realize that it's 12 lanes of highway between here and there. Or maybe she did. But she's been telling my daughter that she is her mom. And that could be a different story, but the man who lived there said that she, in his mind, telepathically. I was driving around, as I do, looking for her. I've knocked on their door and gone there a couple times, and they said, no, there's no Janice Leader-Paez here. Well, I was driving by, I think it was in June of 2020, and I heard Mr. Peachy say, you might want to ask that girl down the street, she just knocked here for Janice Leader-Paez. And I knew who he was in my mind, because I made a police report, and the detective showed me his photo and that of his wife. And I don't think it's them. But I did see my daughter, and or her daughter's daughter, and they have other kids. But God said I had more than one that day. I don't understand what's happening, but he said that my daughter knocked on that door and asked for Janice Leader-Paez, because that is what God changed my name to. So if that's what he hears when I say Janice Catherine Leader-Paez, he hears that not. So anyway, this thing with the helicopter just freaked me out, because all of a sudden I felt like that was God telling me that Janice Catherine is safe, and she's been through so many adventures. That's her cheering to smile with me. She has so many adventures. And if I only understood all those years ago, with all my heart, and I hope people understand that when you see her, she is biracial, which means I am white and her dad is black. So she is brown complected with brown eyes and brown hair, but she's probably at least 5'6", 5'7", God is saying. And she's real quiet. She's aggressive not. She's, loves God and Jesus and everyone. She's just real quiet. And because of her head injury, she is being taken by this woman for financial gain. So she is using her for the money, I suppose, and destroying my family. And it's beyond anything else I can explain now. And it's almost been 15 minutes, so I don't know if this is going to store or whatever. But I'm going to look into that thing in Greenland, and it may or may not be on some kind of news. I don't know. I have some photos. When I looked up that, I think that's what it was. When I saw that prayers for the damned, Is that when I saw you people who were telling me that there's a white dude who said, I'm the one who fucking dropped her in there in the crevice in the ice? And I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? How could you do this shit? And he said, I don't know what it was. I have no idea. So they're doing things for this person. This person not. She is not a human being. She just gets people to do things. And she takes over the woman's body. So she is like getting into these women and making them to do things like everything. Getting the women to take the guy, oh, I need a ride here, or, we're going to do this, make it fun and adventurous. I don't know what the fuck the whores do, but that's what they're doing. And the men are kind of like, cool, she's the wife of all create, she calls herself, or she says her name is the wife of all creation, but she is not. That would be Janice Catherine Leader, and that means of all the God created, he created one woman for himself, and that would be this chick right here who's me. And I'm not in Greenland, and I've never been there, and because of this coronavirus, I hardly go out of the house, and I just have the same money. I'm living on a pension. I was a police officer, 26 years. Worked for the city of Philadelphia for 30 years, and that's what I'm living off of. And I haven't gone anywhere. And he tells me lots of things. And when God first started trying to tell me about this medical malpractice money, he said they were waiting for me to show up, and because I didn't file a claim, they put it in some kind of fund, trust fund or whatever, that was going to be matured when she turned 26. So someone was going to be able to have access to this money, meaning me, her mom. But I never knew that because they never came looking for me, because an imposter went and said that she was me from day one. So that's what this witch does. She gets into the people and gets them to say things. Okay, that's me. You're going to meet so-and-so here. Because she knows what's going to happen. Because God tells her, oh, wait, hang on. I got to see this because this is when Janice's daughter gets hit on the head. Well, this bitch knows it all because she's the demon who's been with him since the dawn of creation. And he understands that, and then she makes him forget. Because she takes him on some kind of crazy shit. I can't even say. I'll never stop talking. But I want to hold on to this and maybe upload this soon. And for those of you who know, you know the Lord Jesus Christ, you're a good person. And you'll know that Satan, some of you, is able to, he is not bad. He is definitely not trying to, the Satan who's trying to accomplish great things, there is more than one. But he is come to guys and they're like, yo, this is Satan, I'm not going to hurt you, I'm not going to do nothing, but I want to do this thing. And he's trying to accomplish things that are good. And God is in torment, thinking the opposite of everything about his wife and sons and people. And he wants to end the world, as she's the reason why. And it's scary. It's not even that the world is ending. I mean, that was something he said was going to happen. Excuse me. But the way it's happening, he's being tormented, and that to me is like, that's the most horrific thing. It's fucked up. Yeah, it's like literally, hey, the Lord Jesus Christ, the people who were raised up already into heaven, and yeah, so some of you know. But none of you will respond because she tells you not to, or she says, oh, you can't because this is or that is, or whatever. But as long as you hear it and you know that this shit's real on this side, because this is where I'm at, some of you might hear me in your mind. And then when she talks to you directly, I can't do that. I only speak to myself, and everybody can hear if they tune in or if they think about it. You can hear me. God speaks to me directly. He said he created me for himself to be his wife and have his children. And this, my baby Janice Catherine, is our second one, and Victoria is our first. He said when Victoria was born, I had 6 babies, but I only knew of one, and they have been taken from that moment, just as the second time was done. I know, but she's done that to dozens of other women. You know, the abortions and the whatever she calls it, and that's just her way of taking your kid and using them, sex trafficking or drugs or just torturing them. So that is the demon that God had seen as he was getting the earth going. And she's older than dirt, literally, because she was around before he put dirt on the earth. But not as old as he is, but he is loving and kind. And she is the total opposite. So, yeah. I'll tell you some of the next time. Next time we'll talk about what the fuck she does, because she's going to do something with it. I'm going to show this window. Alright. Because I'm going to take a picture of it, put it in my New Jerusalem City blog on WordPress. I don't know how to look at this camera. One word, newjerusalemcity.wordpress.com. There are some things that I put in there. I just take a picture and I share it, and then I'll talk about it or not. But I know they're on their way to sunny California. Well, girlfriend, aren't you lucky? Why are you going there? Because that's where Hasatan Satan DOOLIGHTA said to fucking take her. Let me hear him. I hear him screaming, what? You guys are fucked up! Get the fuck to Philadelphia.